In the first 5 minutes of actually getting into the world of Final Fantasy XIV, I stumbled across a band of players who were playing, I think, covers of Final Fantasy music. If not, either way, it was really fun to see them just playing instruments together as a band, as a troupe, and everyone's just kind of sitting around, watching around, clapping after the end of every song, and seeing the artistry of these players, the creativity of these guys. They just got together and they're just like, let's play some music for some new players. We know a lot of new players are coming in. Let's go to the new player zone and show them what this community is all about. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought it was really cool, and it made my heart leap. There's been a few times where I've had these sort of experiences in MMOs. A drop party in RuneScape, a naked dance party in Guild Wars 2, and some weird stuff going on in World of Warcraft, some weird gnome races, but that's what makes an MMO to me. And now for the rest of the video, I'm just gonna shit on this game because the actual first 5 minutes was garbage. Welcome, friends and family, my name is Skylent, and this is a very quick sort of speed bump rant review of some things you should be looking out for and worried about when it comes to this game, which apparently has an amazing end game, has a really awesome episodic story that you'll be leveling through, but holy shit, the very first 5 minutes of gameplay, or not even gameplay, just the first 5 minutes of trying to freaking buy this game, download it, get through the character creator, try to learn what classes even do what, and just, oh my god, just the intro to this game is, I think, objectively the worst of any AAA MMO. Maybe even worse than a lot of just like B-rated free-to-play MMOs. Like, for real, there's some actual issues with starting this game, just even how to buy this game. There's literally guides on how to buy this game. Oh my goodness, and then logging in is a little awkward, and so yeah, we got some stuff to talk about, and hopefully you guys watch to the end of the video so that you guys can really hear, I think, my unbiased opinion, but there's some stuff that, basically I'm making this video to say this is a speed bump. This is apparently, and it's hard for me to say this, but apparently it is not an example of the rest of the game, and as you go through the expansions, it gets exponentially better, and of course, you know, with most MMOs, the early game is nothing like the end game. Not all games can be PlanetSide 2 or Trove or Guild Wars 2. So yeah, with Final Fantasy XIV, definitely a good example of like baby steps. And the thing is like it really feels like that. So here we go. The first 5 minutes, what are the issues that I saw instantaneously, and something that can turn off a lot of people. And hopefully we can get through this all together. But yeah, the first thing is definitely how to even buy this game. So my scenario that I went through is I already made like a free trial account, but it was off of Steam, so I leveled up to like 18, whatever. That was like a year or two ago, and then I was like, oh, this game sucks, I hate it. But then everyone's like, oh no, you should try it again. So okay, now I'm trying it again. But now I'm trying it on Steam. So if you do that, then you have to make a whole new email, have to make a whole new trial account. Oh, but here's the thing, if you purchased the game previously, no, you're totally locked out. You literally do have to make a whole new free trial account. It's not like World of Warcraft where you can still play the trial limitations, or Guild Wars 2 or something like that. Or I guess RuneScape is more accurate. But no, you just can't play the game. So that's weird. And then also there's different packages, which some literally include, like, it skips expansions, apparently. It's so weird, and frankly, this game is really expensive. It's going to be like $100 and then like a $14 a month subscription, and then you're gonna have to buy it again, you know, when the new expansion comes out, so $60. Dude, it's gonna be hundreds of dollars by the time you get like the full experience of this game, because I doubt you're gonna run through it all in a single month. It's probably gonna take at least 2 months. Yeah, that's looking like $200 at least. If you guys want a video of how truly expensive this game is, I could do that. But just saying, you gotta do some research. You gotta open up a freaking textbook, you know, like it's science class or whatever. Page 88, how to just buy Final Fantasy XIV. Thanks, Teach. Miss Frizzle, when do we get to go on the field trip? Well, finally, okay, you're finally in. Or just kidding, the servers are all wacky. I don't know, for some reason I had big issues, but that's probably because it's so hype right now. Did you guys know that this game actually sold out of digital keys? So, anyways, that just happened. I don't know what's going on with the servers and everything. Japanese games tend to kind of be bad at online infrastructure and like how you actually purchase and play them. But Final Fantasy XIV is, I can say, at least a little bit better than Final Fantasy XI. In fact, I rage quit Final Fantasy XI like 5 times. I only rage quit Final Fantasy XIV about 3 times. So, a little bit better. Anyways, so you finally get in the game, you have the character creator. what do even all these classes do? You have no idea really the differences between the races. You get a ton of lore that's like exposition dumped that is a little too esoteric and it doesn't have any sort of context, so it doesn't matter. You can see stats, you can see like zodiac signs basically. There's like a lot of bull crap, frankly, that's just intrusive to the experience. I don't know what's going on. And then it's like, okay, does a Lancer, like what classes does Lancer turn into? What classes does Conjurer turn into? I don't really know. What classes are actually fully available? I'm really not a fan of the class turns into other class evolution sort of thing. It's like, maybe just start as the class, and then you can just sort of explain it. Oh, this is the role of this class. This class will be a tank and stuff like that. So it's just a little confusing. What the hell? Just so confusing. And then the character creator is actually fine enough. Actually, I would debate. I kind of wish there was more options, but like it's fine enough. It's good enough. The thing is, though, is you don't actually. I kind of wish more MMOs did this. Final Fantasy XIV, I do have to give props. You do get a voice changer. You can change your voice, and that is so big, to me at least. Though, in the game, I don't actually hear other players grunting or saying anything. MMOs always sound so quiet. Except for Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is actually really fucking loud. I like that. I wish more games did that. So there's a voice changer, but at the same time, kind of barely matters. Only kind of matters to you. That's a little tragic. And in the end, you know, just gotta say this, now that I've played the game for a little bit and seen, you know, I've been watching a lot of streams, the character creator, guys, everyone makes the same character. You all are making this same looking cat girl, the same looking aura guy, the dragon dude with the anime hair, and so on and so forth. And then like there's a couple Lalafels. If you play Lalafell, you're definitely master race. So yeah, I'm gonna level up as a conjurer. I'm gonna be playing as a healer in this game, hopefully to also try out the new Sage class whenever that releases. I love barrier or shield healers in MMOs and just games in general. I think it's pretty neat. So I'm gonna give that a shot because I normally do tank in games. And Final Fantasy XIV's role system, we're not going to rant too much about it, but besides, in the early game, you have no concept of it whatsoever, so yeah, we're just going to have to skip that. But I'm going to try healer. I think that might be cool. So yeah, you finally get into the game and you get to see it graphically as a video game. We're actually in it to win it now. And what are the things that we actually see that make people quit the game, to be honest? These things make people quit the game, which apparently get alleviated maybe a little bit later on in the game. So I'm just going to say these right now. Tons of load screens. Holy crap. If you thought this was going to be like Guild Wars 2 or Elder Scrolls Online, which even that game has some load screens really, World of Warcraft, or really most other proper MMOs, nope, this game has a tremendous amount of load screens, invisible walls, and the map design is extremely cramped. It is basically linear. This game really feels like a Final Fantasy game, like a PlayStation Final Fantasy game, like Final Fantasy X, except you can move around the camera, which might even be to a detriment, like, to be honest. The game can look pretty icky and iffy in some places, and yeah, sometimes during screenshots and certain things, the game can look gorgeous. The game has a weebish art style, and, you know, that's neat and everything, but, dude, tons of load screens. In fact, I would recommend putting this on a solid-state drive because it is so annoying. And the load screens are not even pretty or engaging in any sort of way. They're just a black, oh, you're going to go to New Gridania or whatever. Neat. It sucks. It freaking really sucks. But yeah, the first things that you're going to be doing is you're running into the game and you're going to be talking to a lot of people. You're not jumping into a giant boss fight like you would in Guild Wars 2. There's no like cinematic sequence like you're escaping a fucking hell prison in Elder Scrolls Online. And there's nothing that is directly tied to your races or the culture of the game like you do have in World of Warcraft's level 1 through 20. You are doing incredibly generic fantasy questing. The quest text, the personalities, the characterization of the people you're talking to is all extremely archetypal and frankly cliche. So you're just running in, talk to somebody, run to somebody else, talk to somebody, run to somebody else, talk. It's super freaking boring. And the first things that you're doing is slapping around some squirrels, maybe, which is weird to me. So if I'm allowed to rant on this, I'm playing a conjurer. In real life, I am also a vegan. So it would be cool to play as a healer that doesn't really, I mean, look, I'm cool with hunting monsters and stuff like that. But the first quest I have for conjurer, which is all supposed to be about the balance of nature and stuff like that, I'm not going out and fighting a monster that's toxic to the environment. I'm literally killing squirrels. I'm killing squirrels. Why am I killing squirrels? That makes me feel weird. And they kind of gloss over all of the magic systems, which I guess, you know, there are class quests in this game, and that's much, much later. But, you know, in other games, that's more immediate. Or they just never talk about it like Guild Wars 2. I don't know. I feel like everything's kind of half-assed, and it's sort of like trying to be poetic, and it's trying to be magical and cool. Like, oh, you have to master the elements, and there's a balance of elements, and you can't be greedy with healing other people. You have to also heal the planet. I guess I totally get the moral. I get it. Final Fantasy, you know, 7, Final Fantasy 9. I've been playing those games. Final Fantasy 10. I get the balance of nature, technology, and stuff like that. And I don't know. I really like diving into magic systems, and I like diving into the lore of the world, and you're not really getting that. It's really half-assed. So anyways, at least in that experience, maybe some other class quests are better, what have you. But dude, I'm just, yeah, first 5 minutes, it just really seems like the writing is actually bad, like genuinely bad. And I'm somebody I do read books now. I used to not read books. And my last review was like, I don't read books. I do read books now, okay? I just read comics and things like that. I read all media, and I do play JRPGs and stuff. So I'm just saying, the intro to this game it's genuinely bad. So if somebody like starts to play this game and they stop reading the quest text, it's because the intro to this game is garbage. Or if you play games like RuneScape, or even most of these starter quests of World of Warcraft, they have genuinely compelling stories. Or Guild Wars 2, where they just don't even have it, right? And Elder Scrolls Online, at least they have it like voice acted. This game just has no production value in the beginning, and there's no signs whatsoever that the questing is going to be good. So if it eventually does get good, a lot of people probably don't notice that turn, and they quit before they realize that it's actually good. And it's all because, yeah, the intro sucks when it comes to the quest text. Next up, though, let's just talk about the gameplay, right? The gameplay. Because you finally are killing some squirrels, you finally are killing some creatures and things. Holy shit. Holy crap. The tab targeting system, this has to be totally broken, right? I don't know what it is, but it is bad. It is the worst of any tab target system I've ever played in any game. And this is supposed to be a AAA MMO, the most popular MMO game out there, that has been rebuilt from the ground up. I don't know. Maybe you don't really feel it as much in dungeons when there's less creatures or there's just obvious trash mobs, but I'm just saying, like, maybe it doesn't matter too much in the end, but I'm just saying it feels really inaccurate. I don't know if it's not pulling from the center of the screen. It might, I don't even know if it's pulling from, like, the closest enemy. Does it do it from left to right? If that's, I don't know, whatever it is unintuitive, which actually goes a long way with saying, even in the first 5 minutes, I could tell this game is going to be very unintuitive. The key bindings are not set to a modern standard, like what you would see in Elder Scrolls Online or Guild Wars 2. Well, actually, you have to keybind for Guild Wars 2. Fuck me, right? Anyways, so what you really should be having is, like, you know, key, Q, E, R, all that good stuff, 1 through 5, not 1 through equals. Yeah, okay, yeah, I mean, you can keybind it, you can change it. I'm just saying, it's just an example of, like, it's not quite modern. You can definitely tell this is an older MMO some of the time. So you do have to change the keybinds, whatever. But a lot of this stuff is unintuitive. Like, so whenever you have to hand over a quest item to somebody, you literally have to go into your inventory, click it, press hand over, and then also click another button, and that just goes for all the UX. Let's talk about that. There's an overcomplication with the user experience, and at the same time, it's also boring. The UI itself is graphically very boring, not very colorful, and it's kind of hard to read, maybe because it's easier to read in Japanese, but yeah, it's very boring. And then at the same time, how you actually maneuver through the menus and really use the game is like one button too many for every single action everywhere. And it just feels a little bit weird. That's all I'm saying. A lot of stuff could be automatic, such as the handing over of quest items, or the quest text, how maybe that scrolls and things like that. Just a lot of stuff could be handled a little bit better, and I'm surprised it hasn't been updated. When they're so willing to literally remake the entire MMO, it seems they are very unwilling to iron out this very first 5 minutes and the core, like, user experience. I don't know what's up with that. I guess most people are totally fine with that. They're like, yeah, this is totally fine. This game is worth $300. Yeah, when it has, like, the worst UI and UX that I've ever seen in an MMO. Skipping, like, fucking, like, 20-year-old MMOs, right? So, anyways, that's just my opinion on that, I guess. That might be subjective. No, not really. Design is objective. Art is subjective. So I guess how it looks to you maybe it's passable, but how it feels, how it plays, it's a time waster. It's awkward, it's strange, and it just reminds me of, like, it's just very Japanese. I don't know, Nintendo and a lot of Japanese companies just make weird decisions that seems like they're made in a bubble without actually doing a lot of experience in playing other things of the things that they're making. So yeah, okay. Anyways, now that we're past that, let's go ahead and talk about more of the actual gameplay. 5 minutes, you're gonna do some fights, you're gonna do some things, and it's all horribly boring. It really is, and you can instantly tell the level design if it's completely forgettable. You know, I mean, I don't even think the loading screens for the major cities are actual art or anything like that. They just filter. They just filter a screenshot so it looks painted, but it's not. It's weird. So there's nothing really memorable about these areas or zones. Maybe to you, because you've played it all the way through and it's nostalgic if you have. I don't know, but it just doesn't have the charm that I would see in basically most other MMOs. Even the most generic of MMOs, Elder Scrolls Online, has like a vibe. And you play it a certain way because it is first person, stuff like that. It does have a darkness to it, which is kind of rich and new compared to MMOs. Final Fantasy XIV, I guess it's kind of weebish. So if we don't really have many anime MMOs, I guess. But at the same time, this game is really European. It's very European in a lot of its design, seemingly. And then, like, you just kind of run out into a forest, and it's just like dirt. It just looks dirty. It just looks forgettable. There's nothing really fun going on with the level design. It's not the fucking skittering dark in, you know, the undead starting zone. It's not the barrens or the crossroads. You guys get what I'm saying. It's not Elwyn Forest. It just really seems generic. It's like, I just got out of college. No, I'm in college, and I'm gonna go design the starter level to an MMO. I've played a lot of copy-paste MMOs, and their level design was exactly like this, and that's basically what I'm saying. It is totally different from the scenic, like, atlases of, like, Guild Wars 2, where you just have, like, a giant whole zone in front of you, and it's just, like, this whole freaking epic thing. No, Final Fantasy, you just feel like you're in a cave, basically, and that sucks. But whenever you start fighting things, wow, man, you are just constantly reminded that this game is arcade, that this game is not immersive. You know, of course, with the user experience, with the UI, sure, you get that too. But man, the pull distance is abysmal. The slowness of killing things just rattles my brain. The lack of any danger really sucks. And unlike, you know, World of Warcraft, that you can really speedrun, and it's actually kind of fun to speedrun it. No, man, in Final Fantasy XIV, there are so many things that are put in place where it's like you can just instantly tell, oh, you're not supposed to play the game in this way. And I don't want to pull too much from my schema of my last time playing this, but when I was streaming the game, people were like, oh, you don't play the game like this. You don't do this. You don't do that. Where in other MMOs, you actually do have a little bit more player expression even early on. Like if you play as a priest in World of Warcraft level 1, you're machine gunning down entire waves of monsters. It's crazy. And I thought I could do the same in this game. And you kind of almost could, but not really. It wasn't really that efficient, I guess. And also, it was really boring. The monsters had no chance of catching up to me. There was, I don't know. Oh, the fates thing, it was so dumb. The fates are so dumb. And of course, you can compare and contrast different games. That is literally how reviews work. Fates, totally copied from like dynamic events of Guild Wars 2, and they suck in comparison. Guild Wars 2 really shines in that aspect, so let's compare it even to Elder Scrolls Online, that has like open world, like rare mobs and stuff like that. Just way more engaging, way more danger potentially. Oh my god, Fates are so boring. I hope they get better. But in your first 5 minutes, basically what you realize is that this game sucks. It really does. If you just play for first impressions, Final Fantasy XIV gives some of the worst impressions that I've ever seen inside of an MMO, and I'm really picky about that. I literally just rage quit and refunded a game, Sword of Legends Online, because it had a similar, like, you know, weird, generic-y MMO intro. And, you know, I play a lot of MMOs, and some of them do have generic intros, like World of Warcraft, and I actually enjoy speedrunning World of Warcraft for certain reasons, for certain mechanics. And Final Fantasy XIV just puts, on purpose it seems, these speed bumps. It's like, on purpose, they've created these design decisions to force you to play in a very specific way. So a game that is linear designed with its level design, linearly designed with its RPG mechanics. There's not much customization. Linear designed in like every way, you know, like literally, visually, mechanically. Yeah, you are doing what everyone else has done. You are going to do the same quests. You are literally just on the roller coaster, but you actually have to press buttons. But you actually also, I mean, before you had to pay for time. Luckily, this is free, but it really just feels like work. And I really hope it does pay off in the end. But that's really it. You know, like just it's a very slow game, low global cooldowns. The abilities that you start off with aren't exactly good leveling abilities, which is something that was a fault of classic World of Warcraft, to be certain, absolutely. But then it was rectified in, you know, modern WoW. It's very easy to level with the certain abilities. Yeah, why? I mean, I know I'm a healer, but why did I get a healing spell like level 2 or level 1? Like, why? I don't need that. Just give me things to kill things faster. When it becomes to the dungeoning, then give me, you know, the CC abilities. When I actually play in groups, give me the healing ability. I don't know, whatever. I guess it's fine. I guess it lets you know what your class does. It's just, man, it's so slow. It is so slow. Loading screens, linear. It just feels bad. And then you think, okay, well, it's supposed to be slow-paced. I'll read the quest text. I play other games. I play Guild Wars 2 and Elder Scrolls Online for their story at the moment. Even RuneScape, I read the quest text because it's funny as hell. I do that. In World of Warcraft, my experience with that was of a sort of JRPG experience. I played it for the roleplay. I actually did. And this game, I am so fucking bored. Now, I will continue to play because I am incredibly sure, you know, because I have actually played at least to level 16, that, and that's why I'm making this video, otherwise I wouldn't, that it does get a little bit better, and I'm sure it gets a lot of bit better, you know, as you start doing